Hi, and welcome to episode 34 of the Yoshi and Lucy Knits podcast. My name is Denise, and I'm coming to you from Brooklyn, New York. This is a knitting and yarn dyeing podcast. You can find me on various places. I'm most active on Instagram, where I'm Yoshi and Lucy Knits. And I have a Etsy store where I sell hand dye yarn at Yoshi and Lucy. So today I have another FO to show you guys that I haven't, I've never shown a podcast. This just has how it's been lining up recently. Some whips and some acquisitions and some shop stuff at the end. So my first finished object is a pair of socks, and these are Union Square socks, the pattern by Mina Phillip for her New York sock collection. And I cast these on about a few days after my last episode, and I just finished them, and they're actually still wet. I just finished them this morning. And the yarn is Barenwolle, which is a indie dyer from Germany. I think I have the card somewhere. Give me a second. Here's the card. It's a Barenwolle, and this is her barefoot sock. It's 80% virgin wool and 20% polyamide. And the colorway is Metaphor. And I purchased this yarn, I think maybe like 2 years ago. And it's my first time using her yarn. And it was a nice knit. So this is the third pattern from Mina Phillip's New York sock collection, and I'm gonna keep knitting as they come out every month. I think she's gonna have 7 overall. And like with a lot of Mina patterns, she has like alternating sequences in the pattern. What that means is that you can change it up and different variations, but I just did the right eyelet one. I think that's what it's called, or the right leaning one. I think because I don't know, when I'm knitting socks, I don't want it to be too complicated, and if I feel like if I change it up, it's just too much. Like I don't for socks, I just want something straightforward, and so I did the right leaning one for both pairs. So there you go. And yeah, I liked it. It's really fun. It seems like it's difficult, but it's not. It's not a difficult pattern at all, and I memorized it fairly quickly, and I finished them fairly quickly too. So this is pair number 8. Pair number 8 for my box of socks. So I'm ahead of schedule to finish the 12 for the year. And since I'm only knitting, I'm limiting myself to 1 pair a month. This is what I'm going to knit for this month. The rest of the month I'm going to concentrate on my shawls and some other projects. That seems to be what I've been doing lately. Once I finish my socks, I don't cast on the next pair until the next month. So yeah, I'm happy to be knitting through some of my stash, some of the yarn that I've had for a while. It's about time that it gets knitted up. So that's pair number 7. So on to my whips. I've been knitting on my Amulet Shawl. This is a pattern by Helen Stewart, and this is my first Helen Stewart pattern. And it's really, so far, has been a really enjoyable knit. I already finished the first lace section, and then I did the ridge section, and now I'm on to the final section, which is all lace. And the yarns I'm using is Sweet Sparrow Yarns. This is for what I started out with, and this is in her Queenie colorway, which is a Fantastic Beasts inspired colorway, which is a movie set in the Harry Potter universe. And The lace section I'm knitting out of my own hand-dyed yarn, Yoshi Lucy, in the coral colorway, and I'm using my Inez base, which is 100% merino. So I feel like I flew by on this shawl for a while there. This was just all I was knitting on, and I'm knitting them medium size. I think there's also a large size, but I decided to do the medium. And because of her Helen Stewart's percentage system, you know, she has like little, for each row she has like a section where you just check it off, and then every once in a while it tells you how much of the shawl you finished, the percentage. So it just really encourages you to keep knitting to get to the next percentage. So I am 70% done now. And so for this lace, I added a lifeline because I messed up. I actually did mess up. So this pattern has options to use beads, and I decided not to do that because I'm not really a fan of beads. Maybe someday I'll do a shawl with beads in it, but I didn't want to this time, and I misread the instructions that instead of placing the bead, you're supposed to do like knit one, and I didn't do that, and I did a double yarn over instead. I don't know why I thought that that's what you're supposed to do, so I actually messed up the whole lace section. Luckily it was only one row in, so I put in an afterthought lifeline. If you don't know what that is, you just pretty much it's like if you ever knit a pair of afterthought heels, you're just picking up so if you ever knit a pair of afterthought heels with waist yarn in, you're supposed to put the waist yarn in, and then once you get back to where you're putting in the heel, you're supposed to pick up the stitch, the right leaning part of the stitch underneath that waist yarn, if you know what I'm talking about. So it's the same principle for an afterthought lifeline. Is I picked up the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, and I put in a gray thread or a gray scrap yarn in there, and then I just took it off the needles, and then I had my lifeline in, and then I just put it back on the needles and then started knitting again. So if that's a good trick if you don't know how to do that. If you decided if you didn't put a lifeline, when it came up to that row, you can still go back and do an afterthought lifeline. So yeah, I'm only like 2 rows into the lace, and I put it down to work on another project. So, but it's really enjoyable. I really like the way she writes her patterns, and you don't get bored with this pattern because after a while it changes to something else. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this and to having this finished object. And I'm actually keeping this in my my Harry Potter bag. So this is a Stitch and You Harry Potter bag, and I have my Hermione Funko Pop keychain. So I had this in a sock bag, and it's too big to keep it in there. So I have all the 2 skeins in here and a shawl in progress. So this is a really nice size bag. So my second whip is I started my starting point shawl by Joji Locatelli, which is her mystery knit along that's going on right now. I won't show you the shawl. I'll give you a warning before I show you the shawl in case you don't want to get spoiled. I had to she released the pattern Thursday evening, so it was a little bit early, and people started working on it over the weekend and posting about it on Instagram. And for the most part, people I've been following have been pretty good to hide the photos. So you know how now Instagram you can do multiple photos. one post, so people put it on the second post. You have to swipe over to see it. But I felt like it was too much temptation. I saw people that I follow started to post their progress, and so I said I have to start the shawl because I'm gonna get spoiled. And if you don't want to get spoiled, don't search that hashtag, because afterwards I went on the hashtag, and people that I'm not following are just posting like their full progress. So yeah, not everybody else is being careful with not unspoiling people. And I think I might have been spoiled for the next part. I saw something that it looked, more advanced from what the first clue was. So I don't know. I think I might have gotten spoiled. But anyway, so the yarn I'm using is my own yarn. I'm using one of my kits that I'm selling in the store in my shop right now, and I'm decided to go with my pink kit, which is Georgia Peach. So I'll show you the cakes. So this is the first color, is Twitter Pated, which is just a very light shade of pink and white. And then the second color is called Aloha. I don't know why I can't say that. And then Georgia Peach, which is a peachy color, and it's very lightly speckled. So there you go. And then it's supposed to have two darker shades, so I went with like a lighter shade of gray. So this is Fog, and then the darkish black, or darkish gray more. It's not really that black. Is Vortex. So here are my colors. Let's see if this might be a disaster. No. So yeah, I'm very happy with my color choices. I posted a photo of my progress so far on Instagram, and I've gotten so many nice comments. So thank you if you left a comment. I can't believe, I can't believe how many comments I got, and it seems to be a pretty popular combination. So that makes me happy. And I had 2 kits. I was selling 2 kits, and I sold more of these than the other one, which was just like a blue kit. And this was like the first kit I came up with. So I'm really excited. I'm really happy that people are enjoying it. So I'm going to show you the shawl for a second. So if you don't want to see it, look away now, and then I'll let you know when you can look back. So here's my progress so far. I did part 1 of clue 1, because you have to do this 2 times. So here it is. I'm really loving it. I can't wait to knit on this more. I did mess up on one section and I had to rip out, and but once I got the hang of it, it was pretty simple. So yeah, here's the last look of it, and then I'll put it away. Okay, I put it away already. So so yeah, this is my first like 5 skein, my first 5 skein color shawl. I've never knit more than a 2 color shawl, and this is my first mystery knit along, so it's fun. It's enjoyable to be a part of this, and I still have to cast on the second part. I don't know. I don't think I have another needle. I'm supposed to use a US size 6. So Hohi said in the pattern that you can put it on waste yarn and then knit the second part again, or you can get another needle. So I'm gonna go look at my stash again, my needle stash. I don't think I have a US 6, so I think I'm just gonna put it on waste yarn. So I don't want to wait to order more another needle, because the next clue comes out this Friday. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with the clues, just because I have other stuff I'm knitting on, but it's been fun so far. So since I record every 2 weeks, sometimes I don't get to show you, new patterns or my new projects until they're actually finished. So I wanted to talk about upcoming projects for a little bit. So because I'm enjoying knitting on the Amulet Shawl so much, I really wanted to knit on another Helen Stewart shawl. So I wasn't gonna knit on the on her shawl, her, what is it called, the Shawl Society 2 patterns, which is a collection um, of shawls that she's releasing exclusively for the next 6 months. I think there's 6. But then I saw that she released the first one, and I really like it, and so I want to knit, I want to cast it on. So I'm gonna knit it out of my own yarn. So this is, I'm gonna do the, I think there's a small and a medium size. I'm gonna do the medium size. So I'm gonna do the main part of it is gonna be in my Under the Sea colorway, which was another yarn that which is part of my other kit that I have for the Hohi Mystery. So, and I'm gonna knit it on my sparkle base, which I call Brillante, which is a silver Celina merino nylon blend. And I'm really happy with the speckling on this this colorway. And then the second section, I'm gonna knit it out of my Still Water colorway on also my silver Celina base, and this was also a part of my my second Hohi wrap kit. So I think these two colors go very well together, and I'm like really excited to to cast this on. I want to cast it on like right away, but again, this also uses a US size 6 needles. I might go up a size just because I don't want to buy more needles. Yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really excited to do this because I want to see how it knits up, and I want to have I want to start another sample for my shop. And I'm not going to use beads again because I don't want to. So yeah, I feel like lately I have this problem where I don't know, I don't just want to knit stuff out of my own yarn, because then I feel like this podcast would just be an advertisement for my shop, and I don't want to do that. But I do also want to knit samples for my shop because nobody else is going to knit them for me. So, and I also have a nice stash that I want to knit through. So my plan so far is to, when I cast off something using somebody else's yarn out, the next project will be using somebody else's yarn, and then also using my own yarn. So I don't just have everything on the needles be my own yarn, because I'm sure you guys don't want to see that every episode. So yeah, I'm just being mindful because I don't want to just bombard you guys with my yarn. So yeah, it's all about balance. So now I'll go into some acquisitions. So yeah, I haven't bought any yarn in maybe a month now. So I decided to treat myself a little bit, and I got a skein of cat sandwich fibers, and this is in her quirky sister colorway, and it's also a Celina merino nylon. I think it's gold Celina. So yeah, it's really pretty. I was trying to get another one of her colorways. I think it's called Flamingos, something with flamingos in it, that she released last summer, but I got cart jack. I didn't realize that she only takes PayPal, and so I didn't remember my PayPal password as I was checking out. So by the time I figured that out, it was somebody already bought it. So, but I really like this. This is really pretty, and I'm a big fan of purple, so I'm not sure what this is gonna be yet. I really need to cast on some of her yarn, because I think I have maybe like 4 skeins of her yarn. 4, yeah. Now this is 4, and I haven't knit any with it at all yet. I just keep admiring it. So Definitely sometime in the future I'm gonna cast on some cat sandwich fibers. I mean, look at the logo. um, and this is so my second acquisition is a new to me indie dyer. I found her on Instagram. I think she was like on my Explorer feed, and then I started looking at her account and following her. So she had an update recently, and it's so this is Kindred Red is the shop name, and she's on Etsy. And this is her red sock base, which is 75 merino, 25% nylon. And I bought this because of the name of the colorway, and it's called Willow Sweaters. So this is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reference, if you've seen that show. In March was their 20th anniversary of the show debuting, which I can't believe. It makes me feel very old. I still remember seeing the first episode when it aired. I was at my cousin's house and we had a sleepover. Yeah. I don't know why I remember that, but I do. And so like Buffy was like my first fandom. Like, you know, when we started, when we got a computer and I went online, you know, I got heavily involved into the fandom. So, and lately I have been watching some episodes just because, you know, I saw that it was the 20th anniversary and I got really nostalgic. So this colorway was the perfect choice. So Willow Sweaters is reference to Willow, a character on Buffy. And in the first few seasons, she was very like shy and nerdy. Well, was always nerdy in the show, but she used to wear like these ridiculous outfits. And one of them was like this very bright pink sweater with crazy stuff on it. So this colorway is like pretty much spot on on her sweater. So I just had to have it. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but it will be something. So yeah. And also I have a podcast recommendation if you are into Buffy, or if you're watching it for the first time and you want to listen to a podcast, I recommend the podcast Tiny Fences, which I found just searching on iTunes. So it's a recap podcast where one co-host is a longtime Buffy fan and the other one has never watched it before. And so they go through every episode. And it's pretty fun. Like, and they have like a theme song. Like one of the co-hosts is a music teacher, so she's really into the music on the show, and she really talks about it, which is just something I never really noticed that much in the show. And yeah, right now they just started recapping season 6, so they have 2 more seasons to go. And I pretty much marathon that podcast when I was dyeing up all those kits the last few weeks, or the end of last month. So that podcast is always going to be connected to those kits. So for me. So yeah, the final or next to final section I'm going to talk about is like shop update news. So I'm still dyeing up and shipping out the mystery wrap kits. So thank you so much if you purchased any. I wasn't expecting to get any more orders, but luckily, you know, you guys have been enjoying it. So thank you so much. And I'll still keep offering it, as you know, if there's anybody that wants to order one, because I know, you know, the clues are still coming out. So sometimes people like to be spoiled and then they decide they want to knit on it. So for that reason, I will continue offering it. And so I had an update recently, or last week. So I added Under the Sea on 3 different bases. I'm showing you this on the Sparkle, and I also have it on my Merino Nylon and my BFL. So that's still in the shop. And I brought back Spring Fling, which I dyed up a few months ago, and I haven't had it back in the shop. I kind of tweaked it a little bit. So this is on my Mercedes, which is BFL nylon. And I added some still water on merino nylon. So all the yarn that I have in the kits, I also put them in separately as separate listings in the shop. So if you don't want to buy the whole kit, if you just want to buy 1 or 2 or 3, you can do that. And I have another colorway which I don't have. I did some a little experimenting recently because I was dyeing up all these kits. I was getting a little bored of just dyeing the same thing over again. So I always feel like I need to take some time to experiment. So I came up with a new colorway called Rainbow Dash, and I only had like 2 skeins of it in the shop. So I put it in the shop and it sold out like immediately, and I got lots of positive comments about it. So even though I was experimenting, I did write down exactly what I did. I was using some new equipment that I received, that I purchased recently, so I'm like unsure if I can. I was hesitant to say, this is a new colorway, so I listed it as the one of a kind because I was using new equipment. But I wrote down everything that I did, so hopefully I can recreate it, and I will be dyeing it this week. So you can watch my Instagram for it to see when it goes back in the shop, and hopefully it would be very similar to the first batch I did. So I was really happy with that colorway because I wanted to add purple, some more purple in the shop because I was looking at what I have there and what colorways I have available right now, and I don't really have anything with purple in it, even though purple is like my favorite color. I don't know. So sorry for the noise outside. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really happy you guys liked it, and that will be going in the shop hopefully by the end of this week, or if not on Monday. I'm gonna start doing some more smaller shop updates because lately I've been having some bigger ones, and honestly the yarn hasn't been selling as quickly as I'm hoping. So I'm like, I have like a ton of stock that's not moving, and so I'm still testing the waters. I'm figuring out what to do in this business. I'm not like an overnight success like you might find, that's not the norm to be an overnight success. So I'm still trying to find my audience. So because of that, I have a lot of stock and it doesn't move as quickly as I'm hoping. So for that reason, I'm going to have some smaller updates. Maybe I'm going to have like maybe 2 or 3 colorways a week, just to see how that goes. Because before I was doing like every 2 weeks, and then I did like 2 updates like 2 weeks in a row. So let's just see what happens. So yeah, that's what's going on with Yoshi and Lucy. As for what's been going with me, so now I'm doing some chatter. You see Lucy? Lucy is napping. No. So I finally got warm in New York. It was cold the last few weeks, so this is actually a really nice day today, so that's why I had the window open. And so what else have I been doing? It's just a lot of dyeing yarn, a lot of like doing business stuff. What I've been watching lately, let's see. I started watching Timeless, which is a time travel show that's on NBC. It was I just heard that it got renewed for the 2nd season, that it was going to be canceled, and then at the last second it was renewed. And I never heard about this show, and I like time travel shows, so I found out that the whole first season is on Hulu, so I pretty much binge watched it over this weekend. So it's a time travel show where they have to where they invent this time machine and this guy steals it to go back in time and save his family, and they have to go after him. The group of scientists that that invented it have to go after him. So if you're like a fan of history, I would recommend it. They do pretty much follow like history, like some of the stuff. Like in one episode, they go back and meet Abraham Lincoln, and then they talk about something that happened to Abraham Lincoln or his family, and I was unsure about if that was actually true, and I looked it up, and it was correct. So it looks like they're actually doing research and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't really like to watch shows on like network television if it's the first season, because chances are that it might get canceled. So I tend to wait until it's on Hulu or Netflix or something and then watch it there. If it's on like a CW, I tend to just watch it as it comes out, because CW is less likely to cancel a show than some of the bigger networks. So that's just I realize that that's my viewing habits lately. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. What else has been going on? So Mother's Day was this past weekend. I just had like a nice dinner with my mom and my grandma, and the rest of my family, and we pretty much just hung out because it looked like it was going to be raining all weekend. So we didn't want to go out and eat at a restaurant and deal with all that weather. But actually Sunday ended up being pretty nice. So my dad just barbecued like he always does in the summer, and we just hung out at home, and my mom wanted me to make a cake, and so I made a box cake for her, which is hilarious if you know me, because I went to pastry school and now I'm like making box cakes, but I didn't care. It's super easy and that's what she likes, so I was happy to do it for her. So yeah, I just keep looking at Lucy sleeping. So yeah, that's about it, and I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.